The church is not for people that are super perfect. The church is not for people that have their lives all together. You will go to the church and you will come across, oh, but that person, he has that fault or she has that fault. Oh, the church is full of hypocrites. I can't go to the church. And this is where the renewed mind, the thinking that is biblical, the thinking that is based on God's word, realizes that we're all in this together. As the theme for the camp, stronger together. We're in this journey. Paul says in Galatians 6:1, you who are spiritually strong, uphold the weak, not kick them down. There's a saying that is not a very flattering saying for Christianity. The Christian army is the only army that kills its wounded. What does that mean? It means that sometimes we can get so up in the air with our noses up there, pharisaical, that think we're better than everybody else because that person doesn't have his act together, or she doesn't have her act together, or he has his act together. But a renewed mind, the mind of Christ, teaches you and tells you differently. In a sports context, especially Christian sports, Philippians 2:5 is one of the most abused verses. Because Philippians 2:5 speaks about putting on the mind of Christ. And you'd hear a lot of the Americans, no disrespect, Mark, but you get a lot of the Americans coming in and they're telling you got to put on the mind of Christ, man. You got to put on the mind of Christ. You got to go for it, man. You got to smash the opponent. You got to show him. You got to show them who's boss. You got to kick them in the ground, man. That's the mind of Christ. And I came across that in my life coaching when I was with the South African rugby team. And one of the guys, and most of them are Christians. And I said, guys, we're playing our opponents now. How are we going to approach them? Now we're going to kill them. We're going to smash them. We're going to psych them out and tell them that they're trash and they're this and that. And I'm like, okay, all right. So show me in the Bible where it says we should do that. Yeah, but Muhammad Ali does that. Muhammad Ali used to do that. He used to psych his opponent out. I'm like, yeah, but Muhammad Ali is not in my Bible. Yeah, but we got to have a positive mindset. We got to have the mind of Christ. I'm like, yeah, Philippians 2:5. Read the verses before that. Verses 3 and 4. It tells you what the mind of Christ is. That you esteem others better than yourselves. That you lift others up. And in so doing, verse 5, you put on the mind of Christ. The mind of Christ is not to destroy. The mind of Christ is not to trash people and to trash talk them. The mind of Christ is to build up, to esteem others. In school terms, I remember in New Zealand we had the saying. And we had this theme in the schools with the little kids. Because the little kids, even in primary school, were getting nasty. They were getting insulting. They were putting down their fellow students. And we came out with this motto, be a bucket filler. Be a bucket filler. What is that? Fill other buckets. Fill other people's buckets. Encourage them. Support them. And that is all part of the mind of Christ. Don't kick them down. Get alongside them. There's an old red Indian saying that says, you never know a man until you walk a mile in his moccasins, in his shoes. And when you do that, that's the mind of Christ.